are around you. But so he comes, what can he do, this supervisor? He comes and he sits with a nice delegation of people in the back. And so he has to come back now to his subject again and to bring the attention of the children and everything. But then, at that moment, the supervisor turns to him and tells him, "Are you Yitzhak Cohen?" He tells him, "Yeah." "Nice to meet you. Do you remember me? My name is Nissim Levy." So he's like, "Yeah, sure, of course, I remember you, but maybe we can talk later, now in the middle of the class." He says, "No, I want to tell you something." So this Yitzhak Cohen tries to remember who was this Nissim Levy, and then he remembered that, yeah, when he was younger, he lived in a suburb place, and there was no really good yeshivot where he lived. So his parents sent him to this yeshiva, not a strong school, but it was a religious school, because that was the only place over there. And he studied there, he was a good student, he had good grades and everything. But this Nissim Levy, the one that just entered the room, he was not really a special student. He didn't really remember any incident with him except one that he remembered. But and then this Nissim Levy tells the kids, "I want to tell you a story about your teacher." So he gets up instead of the teacher and starts talking to the children. He says to them, "When I was 11 or 12, I went to this yeshiva. My parents were not religious. I don't come from a religious background. But I myself wanted to go to this yeshiva. For us, that was the most, at that time, the area that I lived, it was the most religious school. And I wanted to be there. I believed that this yeshiva can really help me a lot. But unfortunately, I wasn't succeeding over there. I didn't have good grades. And socially, I wasn't successful. I didn't have good friends. And it was so slow. Everything didn't, it was so hard, so difficult for me. And my parents, on top of this, keep telling me all the time, "Why do you need to go to this school? Let me put you in a public school, much easier, good teachers, better education, I don't know." He keeps telling them, no, I want to stay in the school, I want to stay in the school. But then he tells to the children, this Nissim Levy, "As you know, there's always, to anyone, good days and bad days." And then I had this bad day. I came very tired to school, he says. The night before, I was trying to learn to a test. It was so hard for me. I didn't understand, and I tried to make the chazara again and again and again, to repeat and repeat. Didn't understand, didn't go through me, and I went to sleep very, very late. I got up early in the morning to go to school. I was tired. I wasn't focused. The teacher, on top of this, kept rebuking me all the time, why I'm not listening. And then in a test, of course, I didn't do great. And so he called me again, spoke with me for half an hour. I felt so bad. I felt so... And then I see that it starts to rain outside. Pouring rain. And I didn't bring anything with me. I didn't bring a coat. I didn't bring an umbrella. What's going to be? How would I go home? So he says to himself, at that point I felt that I don't care. I don't want to go to this school anymore. I had this bad day of mine, and I decided I don't want to continue with this school. So class finished, studies finished, we're all waiting to go home. Because of this pouring rain, a lot of parents came to pick up their children. They didn't know it was going to rain. They came to pick up their children, and I was not picked up. My parents lived far away, they were working, they could never pick me up. And he started with his bad energy and his negative thoughts. Nobody cares about me, I'm always left out, I don't succeed in school, I have no luck here, I don't have good friends, and I don't want to continue this way. And then, your teacher, Yitzhak Cohen, comes to me. And he was all ready. He had his umbrella with him, he had his coat with him, he had his hat with him, he had his special big plastic bag that will protect his knapsack and his. And he comes to me and he tells me, "Can I offer you something? Can I give you my coat?" He's like, "No, I don't need your help. Can I give you my umbrella? I have a coat. I have my boots. I don't see that you have." His shoes were full of holes. He wasn't ready for rain even. He didn't know. So he's like, "No." So instead of leaving me all alone there, he tells him, "So take my hand. So take my this. So take my plastic bag. I don't need my. I can do without a plastic bag. Take my plastic bag." So this is I was ready to accept. I took his plastic bag and was trying to protect my knapsack. And this is how we went home under his umbrella together. We went home, and I felt so good. Somebody cared for me. Somebody offered me his umbrella. Somebody offered me a hat. Somebody offered me something. All the others just ignored. He was the only one that cared for me. All of a sudden I said, "No, I will continue in this school. I don't care. It's a good thing. I will continue. I don't care." So the next day they didn't become good friends or something, but he already felt much better. He decided that he will strive, he will try, he will give it 100% that he can. And every day it wasn't easy, it was still a struggle, but he tried. And for him to go to this yeshiva was not already a question, it was a fact. I'm here and I want to finish it and I will continue to. This is how he says, I continued in my religious studies. I became a supervisor to this yeshivot, and here I am. I want to thank you, teacher, that cared and made this difference in my life. Sometimes a small little act, you don't need more than that. How it affects other people, how it changes other people. I read it once that there was this girl that went on the bus. She paid for the fare, and the driver gave her too much change. So she went to sit. In the beginning, she didn't pay attention. She went to sit in her seat, and then a few minutes later, she realized that he gave her too much. She went back and she told him, "I got too much. You don't have to." And she said, "Oh, okay." He took it and he dismissed her. Next to her sat a guy, and he's like, he saw that she got a bigger change, and she didn't say anything about that. He told her, if you wouldn't go back and give him the money, I would say all the religious people are thieves, they're all fakers, they're all this, they're all that. Now, it was a small little act. She didn't think what he thinks about it. She didn't even realize that people saw, but because of that, he thought differently about this. He respected them. He didn't think that they are bad people, and so on and so on. We don't pay attention, but we can make a difference by paying attention more about the mitzvot, by paying attention for other people, not only you. Recently, unfortunately, we see that there's some. We face this thing, and we get these problems. So this lady, she learned in a yeshiva all her life. She was going to school. She comes from a religious family, but she married for the past now maybe 10 or 12 years. 12 kids, this, that. Her husband goes to shul, but she doesn't come to classes. And it happens that because you don't come to classes, what happens? So you're not so careful about certain mitzvot, and you don't care so much about tzniut, and because you don't keep learning, you don't keep educating yourself in Judaism, and you go down. So this lady now, after 12 years of being married to her husband, she goes every night now. That's what her husband says, to Manhattan. She goes to shopping areas. She wants to feel some excitement. She is not happy with what she has at home because she doesn't go to classes. How exactly she's going to warm herself, be more religious? Harav Nisim again over here says, I started to say what he said before. He says something like that. He says, it says, ואת הנפש אשר עשו בחרם. Abraham and Sarah made a lot of difference in other people's life. Abraham converted males, guys, and Sarah converted females, women. Where are all these souls? Where are all these people that they made? We don't read about them. We hear constantly about Eliezer, their student. Where are all the others? So he says something interesting. Eliezer understood that going once to a seminar, to a weekend, and to accept whatever the rabbi tells there, and there's Hashem, and there's God, and there's mitzvot, and you understand, and you want to change, and you improve yourself, and you want to become better, you want to keep Shabbat, you want to keep tzniut, everything is fine. But if it's only once, and there's no continuation for that, you will go down. Naturally, that's the way it is. If you put some water in a tea kettle, and you warm it, it gets warm. But if it's not staying on top of the fire, it's going to get cool after a while. It's going to get cold. Even the most righteous people, if they don't go and study every day, if they don't go to classes, if they don't create groups of shiurim, if they don't, so they will cool down from this excitement of Torah. They won't be so righteous. They won't be in the level that they were there before. So Rachav and Yehoshua, they teach us that you cannot make a big difference in your life, and this is going to encourage you till the rest of your life. No, you keep learning all the time. You keep going to classes. You keep encouraging your husband to go to shiurim, because that's the only way to stay focused, to be excited about Torah, to be excited about mitzvot, and to stay religious Jews. Let me finish with a story that you might know. This story. This story is much more known in the secular world. So there was this boy by the name Ted, and this boy Ted, in his first year in school, he was excellent. He was a very good boy. In his second year in school, he was good, but his mom became sick, so he wasn't so focused. In his third year, he didn't really pay attention to his schoolwork, to homework, and he wasn't focused in class. And from the fourth year, he didn't really pay attention to what's happening in school. His fifth grade teacher, she sees that he's withdrawn, that doesn't pay attention, and she didn't know all his past. So she thought to herself that he's not an important boy. She didn't pay attention to him. But as she saw later on all the reports, his report card from the past, she saw that there was a change because of a reason, because he lost his mom. So one time it says that there was some kind of a party, and he gives her a present. He gives her a necklace that once his mother was wearing. Very simple necklace, was missing few rhinestones, even no special. And then cheap perfume that once his mother was wearing, he gave it to the teacher. The teacher was very impressed because it says it's his mom. She puts a little bit on herself and he tells her, "Oh, you smell like my mother." And she became very emotional because she saw that he's really missing his mother. He's missing a role in his home and somebody to take care of him and put him on the right track. So from that time on, she tries to pay attention to him. She gives him a lot of encouragement. She supports him. She tells him that he could do it and he can do it. In the end of that year, he was a much better student. And he is keeping in touch with his teacher all the time. In the end of the 8th grade, he tells her that he became second. He achieved the second. He was the second in his class. In the end of the 12th grade, he's in touch with her. He told her, "You were my best teacher. I was one of the first one who finished school successfully." Once he finishes college, he tells her, "You're still my best teacher. I love you very much. You gave me the hope. You gave me the courage." He finished. He became a doctor. And he keeps being in touch with her and telling her that she was his best teacher. And then one day she gets a letter from him. He tells her that he found this nice girl and he wants to marry her. If it's possible that because he doesn't have a mom, she will lead him to his wedding, to his chuppah, whatever. She was so emotional. She felt so good that he told her, "You made such a difference in my life. You believed in me, and because of you, I became a doctor." She told him, "No, it's you that taught me that I'm not supposed just to give you information. I'm supposed to be your teacher. I'm supposed to care for you, to care for your needs." That's what we need, ladies, to care for one another, to get out of our box a little bit and think of the others, and you see, yourself also, you can make a difference. Thank you.
That's it?
Yeah.